Hola, hola, hello, buenos días. ¿Qué tal, amigos, amigas? Bienvenidos again, or once again, to Lima, Peru, to my home in this beautiful city, and also to this series. It's a new series dedicated this time to the Department of Loreto, or the Amazon region of the country, and also discovering some of the most beautiful uh, things associated also to the ancestral traditions of this part of Peru. No? So in last episode, we discussed about the nature of the jungle of the low jungle of Peru, the Omagua region, also known is in this way. We also made some comparisons between the high jungle and the low jungle, and the emphasis is always in the Department of Loreto. But at some point in this event, in this series, we will be learning a bit more about of zones outside this part. So now I would like to continue with the images, and also, as you know, I will be projecting images during all this session. If you don't see images, please let me know it. The idea is that you see these images while I'm also narrating them, not just seeing me. Also, if you have questions, here we have a live and interactive chat. I can see also any comment, any message, or also if you're just seeing this as a replay, you can send me a direct message. You can comment on the video. Also, this video is going to be posted here on YouTube on my channel for the rest of the day. See, later on, you can also access to the rest of the videos of this series and the full gallery of recorded events that I've done here in YouTube originally as live events on Patreon. If you wish to become a supporter on Patreon, here on the chat and also in the description of this video, you have the links and ways how to access to that platform. Now let's continue. This is, as I said before, part two of this exploration in the jungle of Peru. Also, as a little introduction, again, I would like to share with you these two slides that I also shared last time, 2 days ago, about where we are traveling and also the importance of the Amazon River Basin for planet Earth. We have an incredible amount of diversity in this part of the world. So, I have also some interesting information over here to share. For example, that 10% of the species that exist in planet Earth actually are here concentrated. 10% of the totality of the species that exist in planet Earth are in the Amazon River Basin. So the total size of the basin, and of course that includes several countries also, because in South America we share really a big part, all of us, of the jungle, each country. Those countries are Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela. Brazil is the country that has the biggest amount of Amazon, let's say, rainforest. But the birthplace of the Amazon River, which is this element that gives vitality to all of this jungle territory, the Amazon is born in Peru, the most distant tributary or river to, let's say, to this main one, to the Amazon, the one that, let's say, from a most distant location brings water into this river, is a river that is located in Arequipa. So that is the birthplace of this important river And of course, well, later, well, this river originates the Amazon River basin. So the size of this territory is about 7 million square kilometers. 40% of South America is well, this important, vital zone for planet Earth. So in this series, we are traveling to the department of Loreto, the biggest department of Peru. And we are definitely, of course, traveling to the capital of the department, which is the city of Iquitos, in the province of Minas. Iquitos is a Amazonian, classical Amazonian city that coexists also with lots of green in the flat lowlands, also very close to the Amazon River, and also very hot all year round. One of the characteristics of this zone for modern people who live in that location, or westernized people, is moving on tuk-tuks or motorcycles, because well, there are not so many cars, and cars really don't work so well in these hot climates. No? So being like all covered with metal is not really the best for such temperatures that in some cases reach up to 35 degrees Celsius. I know that sometimes in some extreme occasions, close to 40 degrees Celsius in the jungle, in this low jungle territory. So well, before we also go to the topic of today, as I said before, in last event we already covered this theme more in, let's say, in a broader, wider way. But additional to that, we talk about some animal species from the rainforest, and from the low highland in particular. In today's occasion, I would like to take you more on the medicinal path of the jungle. And of course, we will not be yet talking about the modern like cities, let's say, cities like Iquitos, for example. We will be still stick to the indigenous communities of these territories. So I'll give you some names and some examples of these communities that are still trying to be resilient, to hold on their language, religion, their traditions, even though they had faced lots of adversities, and especially, well, the presence of the white men, but I think more particularly the presence of the religious orders who well, came in the starting the 16th century into this location very early, really, in our history. Um, so well, the evangelization of many of these indigenous groups also eventually took them to disappearance. But we still have many groups that are here with us, and I think besides the fact that it's very important for us humans in general to still keep like these pristine societies, or near to pristine societies, or cultures that still understand their past, their history, even though probably they don't practice all the elements, but they understand the history of their ancestors. I think is of tremendous importance, and I mentioned that from an anthropological point of view. I think it's tremendously important for us humans around the world, understanding, for example, the plants of the jungle, of the Amazon. And the only ones who have been able to, well, understand those plants, understand the healing powers of them, the multiple uses that you can give them, well, are those indigenous people. So most people refer to the jungle of not just of Peru, of the, well, the Amazon area, the Amazon basin, the most important and biggest natural pharmacy in planet Earth. And I do agree with this. So, what are we doing with that pharmacy? Well, probably you would not like to hear that, but we will be talking about that briefly later. So, well, there are many different products in the jungle of Peru that are still consumed and enjoyed even by the more modern communities living in the jungle. And one of those is, for example, the aguaje. And aguaje is a fruit. It's a fruit that is like not really sweet, but if you prepare it like as a juice, for example, and it's one of my favorite fruits, by the way, in the jungle, in Iquitos in particular, but also you can have it here now imported, or let's say taken to different parts in the country, in Lima, for example. So this fruit is excellent for juices, and it is not so comfortable to be eaten if you are trying to be very refined, because aguaje has the particularity that, well, the exterior of the fruit, the peeling, let's say, part, it really, when you try to peel it, it comes out in little pieces. There's no way you can peel it like a, I don't know, like a apple, for example. No, so the tradition is just like taking like little bites with your teeth, little bites of the peeling of the exterior of the skin of this fruit, and spit it. So that's the way how they do it. Like, of course, they do it like with friends and colloquially. So they don't need to have like refined forms to consume this fruit. And if you are going to do it like one by one with the hand, they are small, so it's not really like practical. So you're seeing the two pictures of the aguaje, one in the form of the fruit, and also how it looks peeled. And well, it has a really beautiful appearance, a yellow color that is vibrant. So aguaje is rich in vitamin A. Mm. And I know that, for example, vitamin A is in carrots. Also, but this fruit has more amount of vitamin A than carrots. Also, like 3, 4 times. So it's good for example, the sight, for the eyes. And also, additionally, aguaje is very, very good for bringing women hormonal balance. Mm. So it's a sort of like phyto hormone. It's usually referred to as a phytohormone, and you can get aguaje powder in Peru pretty much everywhere, in every naturistic shop, which is sort of like not a pharmacy, but it's not like a store you find in the market. It's a specialized in natural products. Hola, Sandy. Sorry, I didn't see your message. Hello, thanks for being here. Gracias. So this product is excellent for supporting, well, especially women's hormones, no? And bring balance during, for example, period of menopause or perimenopause in particular. So, well, aguaje. Then another plant that when I'm thinking, for example, thinking in making this event for you all, like what are those plants that are characteristic of the indigenous communities in the jungle? Oh, me too, Sandy. I am in this moment, well, I have 42 years old. So preparing in the for the menopause ahead. So this is the menopause, the perimenopause period. This is the time when, as women in Peru, start consuming lots of these plants, these fruits. So, well, thanks God, we are very blessed with still having that knowledge alive. You know, we have a grandmother and an auntie who knows about plants. Is the normal thing for us, and they even more in the jungle. But we need to preserve and take care of our medicine. No? So the jungle, the Amazon rainforest, is indeed the biggest pharmacy, natural pharmacy in the world. So here we have, for example, another important plant that has also multiple purposes. Multiple purposes. We have the achiote. So the achiote, with its beautiful red pigmentation inside. It is not a fruit, but it looks like a fruit when you open it with those beautiful red seeds inside. But achote has, I think, even a better purpose than just being edible. It is used traditionally to give color to the skin of the people in the jungle. So much that, for example, in different, say, Spaniards' conquest missions of the jungle, and even with Francisco de Orellana, for example, and his mission to discover basically, well, first of all, he went to discover the mythical town of El Dorado, the golden town that was supposed to be, well, not just home of lots of gold, also that the king of that people, of that tribe in the jungle, well, was all covered in gold dust, and he used to take bath in a lake that was covered in gold also. No? So that's why he was all golden, right? And then later on, also the Spaniards had the information, and this all happened in what nowadays is Ecuador, where a group of Spaniards were informed about this mythical El Dorado, the golden place, and also about trees of cinnamon. And cinnamon was considered as valuable as gold back in that time. So, well, they went to find the mythical land of the cinnamon, of the trees of cinnamon, and also the Dorado, this golden city. And well, Francisco de Orellana, as he was going down and down and down, and he started to see that the jungle was worse and worse, and the lands were lower and flatter. So, well, in his desperation also, because there was a big group of Spaniards, most of them couldn't well, all return at once, but because it was like returning all sad without any money. They invested a lot of money in this expedition. So they decided to divide the group in two. But they didn't know what was ahead of them. The group, the small group of 50 person, there were like 5,000 people that left Quito, like Spaniards. And well, at that point, of course, over half were dead. So 50 people plus Francisco de Orellana decided to continue with the river that eventually took them into the Amazon River, like trying to find towns, a place for, to find help and food, especially. And it passed months after they finally finished the whole Amazon until, well, the estuary of the Amazon River and finally the Atlantic. So the reason why I'm saying this is because on the way to the end of the Amazon, to the exit of the Amazon River, Francisco de Orellana and his men saw, for example, many indigenous people that look all red. Their skin was like red color. No? And why these people were like in red color skin? Well, the red color came from the achiote, which is a condiment also. We use it as a condiment in some recipes, especially from this part of the country. Also, it was used as a facial paint for, let's say, different purposes, for ceremonial purposes. Um, but most importantly, achiote is excellent as an insect repellent. Also, once they covered their skin with this achiote, since that the flavor was not good for the insects, so well they were naturally protected. So that's why, well, these indigenous people were so red, and the group of Orellana mentions also that in their chronicles. Mhm. Oh, Sandy, I'm just reading your message. Sorry, I was entertained with this story. See, I know. Oh, and today is your birthday. Oh my God, Sandy. Congratulations. Feliz cumpleaños. Feliz cumpleaños. And well, it's of course a very special day to you. And as well, well, today's event is dedicated also to you as a birthday present. See, that's right, Sandy. It is indeed, it protects the skin, and well, it also gives a beautiful appearance also. As a sun block or sunscreen, it can be also considered as well. Mhm. So Muy bien. We continue, and we continue with other plants. So probably after this event, you will hurry up to come to Peru, to the jungle, and also to find some of these natural medicines. We have another plant known as ayauma. Okay, so the ayauma is known as, well, besides as an anti-inflammatory or antibiotic, also is used as a treatment for some poisons of snakes. Mm. There are some poisonous snakes in the jungle of Peru, who, well, after thousands of years of adaptation into the jungle, the indigenous peoples, indigenous tribes have discovered that there are some uh, treatments from plants that could mitigate also the inflammatory process, or also, well, the venom that was injected into the skin of these indigenous people, no? Which actually is something quite common, because they usually go barefoot on the jungle. They know, of course, which places are more dangerous and where they shouldn't step on, but sometimes, well, there are some tragedies. No? So the ayauma is a plant that is used to prevent deaths by, let's say, venom of a snake. Mm. And another, I think this one is way more famous out of Peru, even uh, among people who like good aromas, incense, who are looking for a moment of connection, of relaxation. So this is the Palo Santo. Palo Santo, holy stick. That will be the translation. The Palo Santo is used as an incense. I actually have some Palo Santo in the house. Like, for example, you feel that you need to be relaxed, or you want a good aroma. So it has a really, really beautiful aroma. It's like a perfume, very, very nice. But also, it is known as an insect repellent. When you are like burning this Palo Santo in your house, also has the alternative benefit of eradicating all mosquitoes around. Also, in my home, for example, here in Lima, we don't have really so many mosquitoes. We are in the desert, so that is one of the few benefits that we have of the desert life. We don't care really much about mosquitoes, but in the jungle, we have, of course, lots of mosquitoes. So this, say, repellent comes wonderful for that purpose. Also, I've heard that the leaves of Palo Santo can be boiled for different treatments. I've heard also for treat like diseases, problems with the kidneys, for example, and so on. So, but it's amazing how these indigenous people have learned, and most of the time from failures, no? Trial, error, trial, error, constantly, until they finally found the plants that were good for certain treatments. Is incredible. Well, we need to really be more appreciative of of that knowledge, no? Another plant also very important in these phytotherapies, and also I think this one is another very, very popularly used in the country, everywhere in the country. Even more like aguaje, you know already about the fruit aguaje, you know about palo santo, but as a medicine per se, mm, the most used is sangre de drago, or sangre de grado also, which in translation would be dragon's blood. Dragon's blood. So the medicine is the sap that comes from the tree of the same name. mm, And this sap, which as you can see is dark color also, is a cicatrizant, powerful. It helps you heal cuts, wounds. I've used it several times very efficient. So if you have like a cut, like usually, well, us, like especially moms, well, and now more like also boys, but moms, we cut sometimes at one finger, like when you were cutting, no, and it immediately coagulates the blood and also helps in the healing process. It's like you put just some drops and that's immediate. You see it really. And also is good to intake. We drink also this medicine in a very small percentage, like some drops also, if you have ulcers in the stomach. So, well, it's an excellent cicatrizant, antibacterial, and antiviral also. mm. So, sangre de grado or dragon's blood. And here we have another very important one, the camu camu. Camu camu is rich, very, very rich in vitamin C. I have also the information he would need. Uh, it is equivalent to 30 oranges in vitamin C. One is equivalent to 30 oranges in vitamin C. So if you're wondering, like, if these people have, for example, deficiencies on vitamins because they don't have, well, our modern synthetic versions of vitamins, not at all. They have all the vitamins, all the things also that as humans need to have good health condition, there at the reach of their hands. And camu camu is so acidic that you cannot really enjoy it like, straight, um, like I don't know, like grapes, because it looks like grapes, no? But it's not exactly like that. But we make juices from it, and also we convert into powder also, and to offer it as a medicine. Mhm. Yes, exactly, Sandy. Exactly. And well, for vitamin C also, now especially that we know vitamin C is anti-age. If you don't want to age, if you want to keep young, also vitamin C is so important. Even now, there are so many cosmetic products that are based on vitamin C. Serums, for example. So this is a great source of vitamin C concentrated. Mhm. So well, camu camu. This is another one that is super famous outside, and I know it really from firsthand in Europe, in North America also. There are lots of, well, people who are starting to get more aware about the natural medicine, the phyto, let's say, medicine. And in a time when diseases, sad diseases like cancer, for example, are everywhere around the world, even as here in Peru, we've seen an increase of cancer. Towns and communities from the jungle lack of this disease. There's no, basically no cases of cancer, for example, in these traditional communities that are not westernized, by the way, are not westernized, because if you go to Iquitos, there is cancer there. Oh, And this is people who live in the same locations, same sun radiation, a level of radiation, but still the results are different. So, well, in this time with terrible numbers or cases of diseases, sad diseases like cancer, cat's claw, this is the name of this plant, cat's claw, no? Uña de gato in Spanish. Cat's claw because, well, this product is like a vine. It grows quite big, but it's like a big vine. And this vine to go up in direction to the sun, because it comes from thick jungle. So there's a lot of fight between plants for the sunlight. They all go up. So in order to climb up the trees, this vine has developed these claws to sort of like go higher and higher, no? And have, well, the source of light. So, well, the cat's claw is excellent as a retroviral, and it boosts your immune system. It is considered a natural treatment for different diseases, autoimmune diseases, to also help you boost your immune system during cancer treatments, AIDS, and so on. So, well, it's quite popular now among, well, these groups of people who around the world looking for this natural path. Mhm. Um, Very good. So we have other type of plants too. So, for example, chuchuasi. Chuchuasi is an aphrodisiac. You find chuchuasi in, for example, cocktails now made in the jungle. Uh, it's like the bark of this tree, mixed with or macerated with different spirits, for example, produce, well, these fabulous alternatives, from which also cocktails are being made in the bars and nightclubs of Iquitos. But it's also becoming more and more popular outside this region of the jungle. So chuchuasi and aphrodisiac. And we have also another one. This one is the ayahuasca. Ayahuasca. This is actually the most famous one among, well, the let's say the groups that are looking for these experiences associated also with introspection, like receiving messages from, well, the ancestors, healing path, personal healing path. So basically, long story short, ayahuasca is an sort of like a hallucinogenical plant. It combined with also some other plants, some other products. Ayahuasca, known also as the spirit vine or the plant of the dead, because it really makes you travel to the afterlife while you are having these sessions, or you can have like revelations also during these sessions. It is also used as a medicinal treatment, alternative medicinal treatment for cases of extreme depression, for example, anorexia, for different, let's say, mental states that require in the Western world of medication for being treated, like borderline and things like that. Well, so in our Western world, our Western medicine, you will need constant medication to keep you stable. In the case of, well, these plants, this plant, what it does is takes you into an introspective trip, a mind trip, into the source of the problem. We're talking about the psychological, let's say, like introspection. In most cases, there is a source or an origin of problems that are developed later in your adulthood. Um, so, this plan shows you what should be treated, what symptoms are really coming from, well, the problem, let's say, and finds the moment in life of the traumatic event, or so on. So I haven't tried ayahuasca, to be honest. It is top in my list. But ayahuasca, as all medicinal treatments from the jungle, have to be taken with the biggest, highest respect. So I know many people come to Peru to just try it and have a very good trip, no? But if you really wanna use it as a potent healing tool, you need to be with the right person, the right shaman. And shamans are actually these mediators between the spirit that lays in the plant or in the plants, because it's a combination of plants also. It's a mediator between the spirit and you. And the shaman consumes as well the plant at the same time you are consuming it. So, in that way, both of you receive the answer, the information required to treat the patient. So these are visions. It's really incredible. So that's why I hope and I aim at some point to do it with the biggest respect, as I said, not as a just a fun experience or something to tell the rest. Um, but I know my time will come, and I'm sure that my shaman is there somewhere, and I will be meeting him or her at some point. Well, and when it happens, of course, I'll be also maybe remaking an event just in particular, just to tell you a bit about this. So we have another important plant, and Sandy says people have. Oh, really, Sandy? Oh, I'm very surprised. Do you join us from Europe or from North America? I would love to know like where ayahuasca has been recommended to you. And well, you need also a process of cleanse and preparation that is long. Mm. I'll tell you a bit more about that in a moment. But we talk about fasting and well, depriving you of certain like basic things like condiments, especially salt, and no contact with the partner, for example, and things like that. So no chili. So in order to, because like acidic products in your body sort of like repel according to their vision, no? Acidic and chilies and salt, which have strong flavors, repel in a way the power of the ayahuasca drink. So if you are drinking ayahuasca and you have in your stomach already those very strong products, there is a natural like a fight of chemicals, let's say, inside yourself. So that's why you need to liberate your body completely of those, let's say, products, to receive this plant and the benefits of this plant in a more positive way for you. Mm. um, and also I think it's related with the effects, no, because it's natural to vomit during these treatments, but if you don't fast, you can really feel sick. Mhm. Very good. Copaiba, that's another one. Oh, Sandy from Oklahoma, United States. Oh, well, I mean, I know that in the States, in some parts of the United States, there's also more awareness and understanding of the natural path. Well, you have also in North America, the peyote, for example, which was used since ancient times by indigenous tribes, by different indigenous tribes. No, in Peru we have, for example, an equivalent San Pedro cactus. Or well, Wajuma also is called Wachuma. Um, so well, we have lots of parallelisms. Uh-huh. Great to know, Sandy. So, Copaiba. Copaiba is a tree, and also the sap that comes from this tree is golden color almost, and is used also as an anti-inflammatory. It's also used as a cicatrizant, and for women, for in particular, for example, it's very normal. It's part of women's life because we have a life of sacrifices, women, of having some like problems, like let's say infections and or like microbias coming into the genitalia area, because ours is, let's say, not protected as the male one. It's more exposed. So this copaiba sap, or the oil of copaiba, is also used, consumed with few drops, as a way to regulate also the pH of the body, and also will kill any bacteria. So a natural way also to treat these problems. And well, of course, in the jungle of Peru, we have another product that it was the reason. of a boom, an economical boom in Peru, but at the same time, also the reason of lots of sadness. And that one is, my dear friends, the caucho or rubber, the rubber boom that started basically in the beginnings of the 20th century for Brazil, for Peru, actually since the end of the 19th century, but beginnings of 20th century really marked a big transformation, economical in the country, and also that caused uh, thousands of lives in the jungle. The amounts, the numbers officially are not clear. Later, I'll tell you more about the rubber boom. We have in the next part also, I'll be telling you more about the rubber boom in Peru, the arrival of the missions also here, the Jesuit missions and so on. By the way, the rubber was used by the indigenous people of Peru to also impermeabilize the, let's say, shoes, clothes, also their boats. In that way, to make them also more, let's say, like impermeable, no, to be used in the rivers for the fishing, let's say, purpose for fishing purposes. No? Well, we have ceremonies still in the jungle, conducted pretty much as originally were done by indigenous communities. I think these ceremonies, these reunions also, these healing methods are fundamental for the existence and subsistence of these societies in such locations. The shaman, the role of the shaman is very important. It's an authority. Is the leader also, because the shaman not only knows about medicines, has ancestral knowledge concentrated in him, and most shamans have been trained since very young to become later leaders. So they accumulate well, the like judges, for example, no, the reasoning, how to answer problems, how to help the community. So they have the biggest respect. So shamans know how to use the plants, but women also have very important roles in the societies. Well, in these societies, because we are talking about communities that believe in the duality, it's not that man is the absolute boss. And also not that women is under always, no? But we have also the role of women very clear. Women are, in the case of the healing purposes, for example, she's in charge of being midwives, of receiving the babies. This is a very important role, and it is also very, very complicated also work, because you need to see all the situations, check on the position of the baby, check on the mother's health. And this is the traditional way how women give birth in the jungle, no? They give birth by sitting, squatting, and well, this is the best way to do it, honestly, because, well, it's naturally like the gravity is helping you all the time to take out the baby from your womb. No, it's really fantastic. It saves a lot of time. Okay, so just rapidly, because I don't know why I have my battery dropping incredibly. Like, I don't know, I don't know why. Just give me a second, please. eh, Aniela, ¿puedes traerme mi cargador, por favor? del, el que está debajo de la mesita. I'm asking for my daughter to bring the charger of this computer. I don't want to finish too early the event. So we have the communities from this region, from the Department of Loreto, that are like very important, fundamental also to understand the past of this region. For example, we have the Bora community. Bora community is one of the biggest groups also. Gracias, hijita. Just give me 1 second. I'll plug this computer and I'm coming back. Just give me 1 second. Okay, here we are. By the way, I just want to know: do you still see the images? Like, is there any issue with the images, with the my voice? I don't know, any problems related with the internet connection? Just let me know it, please. Oh, and if everything is okay, also would like to know it if you can. Oh, so still see and oh, gracias, Sandy. Gracias. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. It really means a lot because you have no idea how many times I've been streaming here on YouTube. I do YouTube's very like regularly, and it's like from one moment to another, YouTube just disconnects my images, and I still see them here in front of me, in projected, but you don't see them. So if you find a problem like that, let me know it, please. Gracias. So I was saying like the Bora community also have different beautiful traditions. They are basically in the region between Peru and Colombia. Mhm. Hola, hello, Betty. Gracias. Oh, thanks for being here, by the way. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, well, they are a group that are widespread in the jungle. No? So you can notice, for example, in the little map I put on top, the border between Peru and Colombia are basically the zone where this community lives until these days. Oh, gracias, Betty. I'm so pleased to hear that. I know I am with the right people. This is a beautiful community. I'm building also people who are really into learning about the real Peru. Not just the version that is good for like Instagram photography, and the some things that can be more like a sort of like commercial. But well, if I can be proud of something, is the community we are building together here. Oh, gracias, Andy. Gracias, querida. Thank you. So, well, the Bora people, which, by the way, as you can see, also they continue carrying their traditional clothes and the beautiful Macau feathers. Also, this is something typical from this part of the country. The bright colors of the feathers of the macaws are highly appreciated by these people. Women sometimes also don't cover the top part. Well, it's something understandable. They start doing it so when with the menstruation also. So that's the time when they are considered to be like mature women. And they have a practice that is called mambe, which is consuming coca leaf. So they consume coca leaf, even though they don't live in the altitude, mixed with ashes of different products also. And the mambe is basically like this coca chewing that they share with the people of the community to use it for occasions of conversations and relaxations. So people in the jungle tend to be very much tuned with, like their physical necessities. Like, I don't know if you feel that way at noon, for example, like after like 11, 12, like before like having the lunch break. Also when I used to work for a company, I had my lunch break. I was like drained. I needed just to go sleep and disconnect, and I still had to be in the computer. And even worse, after I ate, I needed to relax. So for example, the people in general in the jungle, they are more connected with their physical necessities. At noon nobody works, and it's very simple. It's so hot, like you are really like out. So well, they are more in tune with those moments of conversation, of being with friends. They really form these communities like so well. We need to really learn a lot from them. And these are communities that are like they have thousands of years, and the systems work so well that they didn't need to change them. So the Cocama Cocamilla is another indigenous group. For example, well, this group corresponds to three countries. Mhm. The biggest amount of cocamas are in Peru. So you can see in the map on top, that zone corresponds to part of the reserve Pacaya Samiria, located in the Department of Loreto. Pacaya Samiria Reserve, which in my last event, I talked about Pacaya Samiria. So I hope you will like to give it a look also. It's the biggest national reserve we have in Peru. So, well, you can see also there are some cocamas in the bottom tip of Colombia, mm, because Colombia also has access to the Amazon. A very little still, but important for them also access to the Amazon River. And also there are more cocamas in Brazil. Okay, but the biggest number is in Peru. Mhm. So, well, the cocamas are excellent fishermen. They have very big connection with the sea, with the water. I mean, the water, not the sea, the ocean. No, sorry, the river, and they are excellent fishermen. So that's really their highlight. Mm. Eh, we have also another community, the Huitoto. The Huitotos also, their territory corresponds to Peru and Colombia. And by the way, all of these communities have their own language. No, they have their own languages or variations of languages. We have in Peru 43. Last time I learned in an official document from an institution of Amazonian studies, there are 43 languages in the jungle of Peru. 43 languages. Also, and most of those languages, at this point, they are condemned to disappear because the children are not learning those languages. The ones in charge of teaching them are, of course, their parents at home. But the parents, because they fear of, well, discrimination, because they expect their children go to study to the big cities, they prefer their children to speak in Spanish. And also, well, television. Oh, now children will watch television in Spanish. The schools also don't have teachers that speak the local language, the native language, so the teachers speak in Spanish. So little by little, children are abandoning their languages. So there are lots of efforts put in these children to relearn or to not forget the language, but it's tough. And the Huitotos, in this case, going back to the Huitotos, they were one of the most, let's say, punished communities of the jungle during the rubber boom period. No? The rubber boom period in Peru was terrible. Well, I will also later give you some recommendations on maybe books and movies also that can explain about this period. But well, you can see, for example, a picture from the beginnings of the 20th century of these Huitoto people that are all in chain. Probably because they were trying to run away, they were trying to escape from the mistreats given by the landowners, the people who were controlling these territories. And the extraction was from the government, was officially conducted by the government of Peru. So all of these atrocities, the government of Peru permitted them. And many communities never recover from the trauma. We know of communities, entire communities that were swept away during this period. So, and it's one of the stories that is less mentioned even in Peruvian schools. Peruvians don't know about this period. It's like among the indigenous groups in Peru, we put sort of like levels of importance, and it shouldn't be like that. The Incas and their descendants, the Quechuas, they are on top of appreciation. Then the Aymaras. And then in the bottom, we have the Amazonian groups. Why? Because sometimes we measure societies or the value of the societies according to their edifications, their buildings. In the jungle, you don't really need temples like Machu Picchu, because you build something like that, in 2 years it's all gone. The jungle eats it all. The jungle, the river floating, the rains, the vegetation, everything, the humidity. So it's not necessary. Mhm. Sorry that I went in a different direction, as always. So one of the characteristics of the Huitoto is living in malocas. Maloca is this big, like, house, circular also, where they share their lives with others. Also, they have one maloca in particular that is used for sharing stories. So the elderlies of the community are the ones that are in constant communication with the children, telling stories, telling the legends. The world of in the heads of the children in these Amazonian communities is really full of imagination, full of characters and creatures that are sometimes not so friendly, but also some of them are really the ones who protect them. The spirits of, for example, the spirit of the Yakumama, this snake, gigantic snake or anaconda of the Amazon, that is a protector, that is the one that nourish also the soil of the jungle, and so on. So, well, maybe in the future, I haven't planned it for this series. Maybe you would like to learn about the legends of the jungle. I don't know. Let me know it so I can prepare something special for you about Amazonian legends, and maybe another one about, well, the legends of the highlands. So I would like to know. Oh, Sandy, no problem, no problem. I know that this is sometimes takes me a little bit longer, even though we're in the last part. But no worries, you can give it a look later. Thank you so much also for being here. So we have the Jaguar community. You know that those. Oh, gracias, Betty. The jaguars, they have as a characteristic, there are two elements that are characteristics of the jaguars. So you can see also their location, again, in the department of Loreto, also the clothes they use, they're made from these sort of like dry, let's say, like how can it be, like thatch, or it's not grass, no, we call it like lianas, this vegetable material, that is hanging. Sorry, like the word is gone from my mouth. And well, this is the typical clothes they use. I know also that this material from which they make their clothes, straw. Yes, Betty, thank you. That's the word, straw. Gracias. So simple, it was gone. So gracias. It comes from the tree of the aguaje. Do you remember the fruit? Aguaje, the one with the hard shell. So what they use that particular material for their clothes. And another thing also, they have this long, sort of like sticks. They used to blow darts. Dart blower will be I think the translation into English. That is characteristic of the jaguars. The jaguars know very well about poisonous plants and animals. Like, for example, how to manipulate certain types of frogs that, well, the resin in the skin is poisonous. So, and they can achieve also in many, many meters of distance, like throwing a dart to, for example, monkeys. They consume monkeys. It's one of the meats that they appreciate the most. Mhm. But of course, that they know which plants they can use that could be poisonous for the monkey and not for them. Mhm. Another community is the Ticuna. The Ticunas also are in Loreto, as well as in part of Colombia, but most of them are in Brazil. Mhm. So it's actually the biggest indigenous group, I think, in this moment exists in the Amazon basin. And they have, of course, their own language. Uh, Another community they are not really that present in the Department of Loreto. They are more present in the central jungle of Peru. Um, but it's like an honorific, let's say, mention is the Shipibo Conibo. And at this point, I think in the history of this process of giving a spotlight, Peru is trying to give a spotlight to these indigenous communities. Probably the most successful indigenous community in all of the Peruvian jungle is the Shipibo Conibo. Why? First of all, their fashion, their clothing is very attractive, not just to us locals, internationally. Like they are the ones that have probably the most attractive patrons in terms of fashion, and fashion that can be reproduced at a more sophisticated level internationally, that can be internationalized. So recently, there are many fashion designers that are Chipibo Conibo from this community that are now like traveling to the world and bringing these designs, and of course, making more famous in the world this community than others, no? Because they are carrying their traditions with them. So the element that is more famous of the Shipibo Conibo is what they call kene, the kene art. The kene art is, do you see that all of the people in the picture, they have, for example, the women, these beautiful skirts with designs that look like interlocking technique. No? So they are like mirror, no? They mirror one to the other. And also the boys, the young boys have the same beautiful designs. They are not exactly the same, no, but the idea, no, is this interlocking technique. So that is kene. And kene is sort of like a freestyle drawing, but it has a magical background. And they said that their ancestors, when they made the kene, they were trying to represent the skin of the big snake, of the anaconda, of the jacumama, the protector snake. And that's why the patrons are the way you see. Also, if you wish, you can see lots of beautiful kene art pieces online. So I really hope you give a look to them. It's Kene, Kene. Mhm. They use it also as a facial painting, that Kene design, and in their potteries. The potteries are also sophisticated. In the time of the let's say the terrorism in Peru during the 70s, 80s, 90s in particular, the Shipibo Conibo were one of the most affected communities by the guerrillas and terrorist groups like Sendero Luminoso and MRTA. So there were a lot of people who were killed by them, and they are naturally like warrior people. They are very strong. They defended their territory strongly, but there were many people who were killed during that time. So that was also a time when lots of Shipibo Conibo migrated to Lima, escaping from their situation, from the isolation of the jungle, from the lack of authorities, and they came to Lima, and that's why we have in Lima a big community of these people who have their own language again, and also they live in sort of like little reservations that they have created in the style they like. That is unusual to Lima, but well, it's the traditional homes of the people from there. No? And finally, another community that is not from the Department of Loreto, but I said before that I wanted to do some honorific mentions also, is the Ashaninka. And also, the Ashaninkas are natural warriors. They also were affected during the time of terrorism. So, as you can see, basically, the central jungle of Peru was the zone that was the most affected. But historically, also, the Ashaninkas had always been warriors, or had always been like against the colonizers. And they were also treated sometimes as a little bit savages, but because they were resilient with their tradition, they didn't want to give it up. Uh, what I find also interesting about the Ashaninka is that these people, since ancestral times, they had a strong interaction with communities in the coast of Peru. And we're talking about like thousands of kilometers in some cases of distance, and also taking in consideration the Andes, no? And to go to the other side of the country, you need to cross the Andes, which is not a little thing. But we know that they were connected, even also like by traditions, by clothing style, by language also in some cases, with communities across on the Pacific. And probably they use the barter system, trading products, like for fish, for example, salty fish, for their, I don't know, maybe their say medicines, or their products, their fruits also, that were highly appreciated on the other side. Mhm. Also, another characteristic, last about this one, women, their clothes that they have, this beautiful kushmas, is in general, men and women have kushmas. That's the way how their clothes are, which is like a long rope. No? So women had the differentiation that their kushmas have a cut in the neck that is long, like horizontal, and you can see all of the women have an horizontal cut, and the men uh, has a vertical. So the cut is vertical. That is the tradition for them. No way a man will have another form of cloth. That is not made. um, so well, but what is happening in the jungle? There's lots of destruction now. You know that 90% of the extraction of gold in the jungle of Peru is illegal. Did you know that? 90% illegal gold mining in the jungle in this moment. Only 10% is regulated by the government. And that also means that the systems that farms use to extract the gold from the soil, which is actually in the surface in some cases, is in the surface, close to rivers also, and in the form of gold nuts, I think you call them. But sometimes, well, the gold has been layered, because we talk about like gold that probably was coming originally from the Andes, dragged by the rivers, sediment, and deposited in different sections. So the gold is layered. And one of the characteristics of the soil of the jungle is that it's not as rich as the soil in the Andes. It has less, let's say, minerals. And that could be related with the constant floats, and the floating and the rains. Also, it's like washing out constantly of all of the minerals. So it takes a long time to regain minerals. So even though you see lots of plants there in the jungle, the roots of the trees, and that you will see it very clearly if you ever go to the jungle. So I hope you do that. I really hope you can go to Colombia, Brazil, Peru, north of Bolivia, whatever you prefer. But come to the jungle is once in your lifetime. You're going to see that the trees, the roots don't go deep, because deep, the soil deep is more like clay. It's like clay. It's almost like dead. No, there's not really much there. So the roots go like this on the level of the ground, to obtain more like the minerals and the water from the surface. When was gold discovered? Excellent, Betty. We know that the pre-Hispanic societies, in this case Amazonian communities, they knew about the gold, because they consider them, this metal, important. Mm. Uh, Also remember about the legend of the El Dorado. I was mentioning, I don't know if you were in that moment when I mentioned about the legend that the Spaniards here in nowadays Ecuador, from the indigenous people, saying that on the other side, across the Andes, in the jungle, in the forest, there is a town where there is a sovereign, a man who is covered in gold, covered in gold dust, because he goes into a lake that is full of gold. Oh, and the eyes of the Spaniards turn into the sign of dollar, no, immediately. And they say, well, there we go. And they never found the place. The place, the mythical place, is known as El Dorado. Dorado means golden. Also, the indigenous knew about the value of gold, and they knew that there was gold in the jungle. But another thing is that, I mean, is the value of gold. For the indigenous societies of the jungle, gold didn't have the value that the Western people gave to gold. We didn't have even currency in the pre-Hispanic times. We were societies who lived without currencies. And we had incredible societies like the Incas, very advanced, very sophisticated, without the use of currency. And gold for the Incas was important, but was just considered as a symbol of the sun, or a religious symbol. I don't know, like maybe for us nowadays, for example, what can be something that we don't give value, but is religious? Holy water, for example. The holy water is very valuable, uh, but you will not use it as currency. So it was something like that. Maybe it's not a really great example, but I just want you to have the picture of the idea that it was beautiful, of course, gold. It reflected the sun. It was the sweat of the sun, but it was not considered an object that itself had value to buy things. Mhm. So when the Spaniards came, oh, no, they discovered the first missions of the Spaniards, conquistadors into this region after Francisco de Orellana, who finally discovered the Amazon in the year 1542. The Amazon River. No? So later they come and they discover there's gold. And since that time also they know there's value in this land. But more in recent times, with the modern technologies, with the modern machines, there are people who are obtaining gold illegally from here. And why is so devastating for the jungle? I already mentioned that the soil is naturally poor in sediments. It really takes a long time, the soil of the jungle, to regenerate. It's not like in the Andes. So the system to collect gold in the jungle is by using a machine that pumps water very strong in the soil. So it removes all the surface. By the way, you need a clean surface with no trees. It removes, no, or moves all the sediments, and in that way the gold emerges. And you need one more thing: you need mercury. Mercury attaches naturally to the gold, and it's for you more noticeable to see the gold also, because mercury is like a magnet, to the mercury. And then after, because the gold is all covered with mercury, you need to boil, to heat up that mercury, which comes out because evaporates and is terribly toxic for everyone around and for the environment. And also those toxic remains of the metal, because you have to wash first previously all this material to get rid of the clay attached naturally to the gold and later to the mud. So all that resulting of the mercury and all of those chemicals they use goes back to the soil. What can grow there? Nothing. I just show you here a little patch of nothing. This is a zone that was used as an illegal mine, of gold. So 90%, right, of illegal mining in the jungle for gold. But not happy with that also, the people who are aiming to destroy our jungle just to enrich their pockets, also partaking the cutting of trees. And already the jungle is a complicated territory for even for agriculture. That's why the jungle also don't really have lots of agriculture. Our agriculture happens in the Andes because, the sediments there is richer. The jungle of Peru don't really offer the quality of soil. You need a lot of these, let's say, products. Oh, like sort of like one of fertilizers. Oh, sorry, the fertilizers to make those soils productive. That also reminds me a story. Sorry that I come with many stories, but at the moment I remember something I'd like to tell you. We have a group of Mennonites in Loreto. Do you know the Mennonites? It's a religious group. Some people say it's a sect. Well, and we have a considerably good number, let's say, of Mennonites. They came from Central America because they knew, well, they believe like the jungle, the Amazon would be like richer because naturally, like what you see there's a lot of vegetation. They bought land there in the jungle in Loreto, and when they start trying to grow things, they realized that the soil was very poor, so they needed to work a lot the soil to make it productive. But also Mennonites got in a problem because they started to cut trees that were millenarian trees. There are trees that need 1,000 years to grow, like the height they grow, because, well, the sediments, it's poor sediments, and they are cutting 1,000-year-old trees. So I have another interesting percentage. 70% of all wood extracted from the jungle in Peru comes from an illegal source. So lands that are not permitted to be cut, and that, well, their regeneration process, well, will take a long, long time. So, well, the story of sort of like the intervention of Western, let's say, men into the jungle really goes back to ancient times, or goes back to hundreds of years, to the year, already 1542, when Francisco de Orellana, for the first time, also penetrated into, well, the Amazon River. But that story, I promise, will continue next time, next week. We have lots to discuss also. Thank you so much for being here. I have here a little, well, reminder of also, well, my Patreon page, which is the only way how in this moment I'm trying to fund also these events. I do have wonderful Patreons that are supporting every month with a little donation also. I really hope that you can also join the club, this community that is interested in learn about, well, the real history of Peru, and also told by a Peruvian. So thank you so much to my Patreons of this month. If you wish to become a patron, the link is also in the chat here, in the description of the video, or you can look for History with Vanessa. And well, the tires are quite modest also. I have a $2 per month, $5 per month, 10 and 20. And everybody receives the same access. It's just I wanted to give some different options because I know not everybody has the same economy. Also, every month I receive donations from my supporters on PayPal. So thank you so much to my supporters of this month. It means a lot to me. See, so well. Now I will remove this image. Gracias. Thank you so much for being here. I know that many people also watch these videos on replay. My time usually available is too early for most of my friends. But, well, here we have also the recording for the rest of the day. And hopefully I'll see you next week with more also of Iquitos. Have a lovely weekend, lovely Saturday, lovely Sunday, and a blessed next week also. See? Thank you. Gracias. Gracias, Betty. Thanks for your participation. Really means a lot to me. See you soon. Gracias. Ciao, ciao. Thanks.